Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 411. 5 Forms. Venerable Sage. Zhongzhan quickly stabilized his cultivation. Galaxy 7 Dan Peak. With a breath of turbid air expelled, he looked towards Yu Xiaoyu. The girl at this moment was already immersed in comprehension, emitting streaks of sword intent all around her, and her entire demeanor had undergone a transformation. Along with the comprehension of her main destiny, she had, just like Lu Mingyu, broken through the shackles of the Source Pool realm and reached Galaxy 1 Dan. Feeling somewhat gratified, he nodded slightly and turned to look at Hong Yi. The youth's face was flushed red, sweat kept streaming down his forehead. He seemed to be trying to sense something but appeared to gain no insight at all. Don't rush, I will leave the sword intent here, slowly comprehend it. Knowing this was a difference in talent, Zhongzhan didn't press him. With a flick of his wrist, streaks of sword chi landed on a nearby rock. Practice relies on oneself. Even as a teacher, one can't always be there. One must rely on self-comprehension. I'll give you 3 days. If you haven't comprehended it within 3 days, then practice some other destiny. Sheathing his sword back inside his body, Zhongzhan said. The Yuking destiny is a first-level destiny. Even its branches are feared to be at least tier 2. If one cannot comprehend it, it's futile even with more time. 3 days are definitely enough. Understood. Hong Yi nodded hastily, then quickly sat down in a squat in front of the rock, looking at it intently. You both continue your practice. Tossing some pills to his 2 disciples to replenish their origin energy and increase their cultivation, Zhongzhan turned and went back to his room. This time, he had made considerable progress in his cultivation and had gained deeper comprehension of the Yuking destiny, which likewise needed to be consolidated well. Ellipsis. Next door to Zhang Shi's residence, in the courtyard, Blue Cloud Venerable's brow was furrowed as he sat upright on a cushion. His disciples were seated quietly on either side, not daring to even let out a breath. This shouldn't be happening. The great monk shook his head. Even though he practiced the abstinence from sorrow Zen, which cultivates selflessness, he couldn't help feeling irritated at this moment, struggling to maintain control. This time, not only had the essence pill escaped, but the 10 directions Bodhi demon suppression rope, a treasure of the Buddha, was also lost. If he couldn't find it, it's not just the bodhisattva fruit position that's at stake. Even maintaining his own arhat fruit position would be doubtful. The loss was too significant. No matter what celestial treasure is used to conceal karma, to restore strength, to recover power, demonic chi must be inevitably released. As long as we find the place where the demonic chi appears, we will certainly find this frost demon lord. Streams of thoughts flickered through his mind. But, Tianli City is too vast, and it's divided into the inner city and outer city, with many areas being key locations of the empire sealed by formations, not open to investigation. Even with thousands of Buddhist disciples, it is impossible to monitor everything. In any other place, he could spread his intent with a single thought, and even if hidden 100 meters underground, he could easily probe it. But not here. There are simply too many formidable figures here. If he dared to release his intent recklessly and provoke openly, it wouldn't take long before someone would come knocking on his door. Let alone him, even a bodhisattva or even the Buddha would probably be unable to withstand such an unending onslaught. Unable to monitor the entirety of Tianli City. With the karma destiny broken, could it really be that the Frost Demon Lord, whom we captured with great effort, has just escaped like this? If so, even if he could see the fruit position, obtaining it would be indefinitely far off. No, he must find it no matter what, even if it comes at a great cost. While he was contemplating in his heart, a disciple rushed in hastily. Master, there's someone outside asking to see you. Asking to see me. Did they say who? Blue Cloud Venerable frowned. He had only been here for less than a day and hadn't notified anyone. Even Elder Zhang Li, whom he had gone to find before, didn't know he was staying here. How could there be someone asking to see him? The disciple shook his head. They didn't say who they were. A total of 5 persons, all looked a bit strange. Strange. The Blue Cloud Venerable was curious. Yes, the one who spoke to me about coming for a visit was a woman in her 20s, dressed in a big red bridal gown, barefoot with silver bells wrapped around her ankles, smiling cheerfully on her face, speaking very politely and even stuffed me with lots of sweets. The second one had an iron blue complexion, dark-skinned, unsmiling, clothed entirely in pure white, and also holding a piece in his hand, like. As the disciple said this, hesitated for a moment, and confirmed, a soul-summoning banner. Bridal gown, soul-summoning banner. They had only mentioned two, and everyone already felt the oddity, all full of astonishment. And the rest? Miao Nang couldn't help but ask. The disciple said, of the remaining three, one was dressed in a red golden robe with silver hair, his brow inlaid with a three-legged golden crow blood jade, one clad in dragon scale armor, carrying a spear on his back. As for the last one, also a woman, about 30 years of age, wearing flowing water sleeves filled with starry ancient runes, her brow dotted with cinnabar. This. Miao Nang frowned. Master, could they be people from the demon clan? With such strange attire, they could think of no one else but the demon clan. But, this is Tianli City, even the powerful demon clan wouldn't dare to come rashly, especially not in such an ostentatious manner. More importantly, if the demon clan really were to come, how could they possibly stand quietly at the door and ask someone to report? They'd more likely barge straight in. I know who they are, hurry and invite them in. The Blue Cloud Venerable didn't answer his words but suddenly stood up as if he remembered something. Yes. The disciple hurried off. The Blue Cloud Venerable also strode towards the reception hall. Just at this moment, Miao Wu thought of something, couldn't help but look up. Master, could they be the Five Forms Venerable Sage? Correct. The Blue Cloud Venerable nodded and replied. The Five Forms Venerable Sage. What is that? Miao Nang looked on perplexed. Miao Wu explained. They are the descendants of the heavenly mandate of ceremony Zhou-ji, each representing propriety, funeral ceremony, military ceremony, courtesy, and celebration. The heavenly mandate of ceremony. Could it be? Miao Nang was startled. Their biggest purpose in coming to Tianli City this time was to find the successor of the heavenly mandate of ceremony. Now that these people suddenly appeared and paid a visit, the intention was self-evident. Let's see what their purpose is before we decide. The Blue Cloud Venerable waved his hand. Yes. No one else said more. They walked quickly to the guest hall, just settled down, and saw the earlier disciple bring in 5 people. Just as described, the 5 people's attire was odd and from any perspective, seemed mismatched, yet they adhered strictly to etiquette. Each step they took was an act of ceremony, leaving no room for criticism. After entering the room, they bowed simultaneously. Zhao Ming, with my brothers and sisters, meet the Blue Cloud Venerable. The middle-aged man in a red golden robe with silver hair took a step forward and spoke. The Star Sacrificial Master is too courteous. The Blue Cloud Venerable returned the gesture, smiling faintly, and with a distinctly different look in his eyes. We of the Buddhist sect do not commonly interact with your kind, and seldom communicate. May I inquire what brought you to visit us all of a sudden? The middle-aged man named Xiao Ming bowed again. I am here to trouble the Venerable with a matter. 412. It really is him. Amitabha, Star Sacrificial Master is too polite. If there's anything I can assist with, I will certainly not shirk my duty. Blue Cloud Venerable wore a gentle smile. This Xiao Ming, who presides over propriety, controls all ceremonies for the world and the divine, and thus he is called the Star Sacrificial Master. Xiao Ming bowed deeply. It is so. We have heard that the heavenly destiny of ceremony has been reborn and has been forged by others. Furthermore, we've heard of the unrivaled strength of karma destiny within the Buddhist sect, which can trace the effects back to their causes. Therefore, we have come specifically to request assistance. Should we find it, we shall express our profound gratitude. Does the Star Sacrificial Master seek my aid in finding the successor to the heavenly destiny of ceremony? Blue Cloud Venerable suddenly understood. Upon hearing who it was, he had a guess in his mind, but he didn't expect it to be stated so directly. Yes. Xiao Ming nodded his head. Under normal circumstances, it is very difficult for the 5 ceremonies, being branches of the heavenly destiny of ceremony, to locate the main heavenly destiny. However, karma destiny is different. Once the cause is known, the effect can be traced, which may assist them. Consequently, upon hearing that Blue Cloud Venerable was staying here, they immediately came to seek him out. Amitabha, I'd also like to help, but unfortunately, there is no karmic connection between me and the heavenly destiny of ceremony, and even if I wanted to take action, I'm unable to assist. With downcast eyes, Blue Cloud Venerable's expression was neutral, showing no sign of shame for telling a lie. The Venerable may not have a karmic connection with that successor, but we do share one with him. Is it possible for you to use our connection to locate this person? Xiaoming offered a gentle smile. The next moment, a barefooted woman stepped forward, and a Zen bead in the palm of her hand shone brightly, illuminating the entire room. Is this our Buddhist, calming spirit Zen bead? Miao Nang Zen master was startled and couldn't help but exclaim. The calming spirit Zen bead, constantly held by high monks, has absorbed the power of their heavenly destiny power and can quiet the primordial spirit and dispel distracting thoughts, greatly aiding those who practice Buddhism. Furthermore, once deployed, it can cause significant harm to demon cultivators. If the Blue Cloud Venerable had had this item when he was forging the essence pill of the Frost Demon Lord, perhaps it could have prevented the latter's self-destruction ahead of time. Correct, my siblings and I came across it unintentionally. If the Venerable can help us, this calming spirit Zen bead can be returned to its rightful owners, allowing it to exert greater effects. Xiaoming smiled lightly. Since the star sacrificial master has spoken thus, it would not be right for this old monk to continue refusing. Blue Cloud Venerable, with an indifferent yet slight smile, said, however, I shall not take the Zen bead. It just so happens that there is a matter for which I may need to trouble the group of you. There is no obstacle, Venerable, please speak freely, said Xiaoming. Blue Cloud Venerable slowly raised his head. This poor monk came to Tianli City in pursuit of a great demon. This creature is sly and deceitful, and if you could help me locate them, I would be immensely grateful. He had been worrying about how to find the fleeing essence pill, and here they were, offering their help. As the one who controls the 5 ceremonial destinies, although not under the jurisdiction of the Tianli dynasty, there is a close connection with it. Having them take the lead could facilitate the search for places where demonic qi has leaked out. Who could compel the Venerable to take action himself? May I know who this demon is? Asked Xiaoming, curious. Blue Cloud Venerable nodded. It is none other than the Frost Demon Lord from Blood Venerate Demon Emperor's tutelage. Rest assured, I have already destroyed his corpse, and he has fled in the form of an essence pill. This poor monk does not seek direct aid, only the identification of areas in the city where demonic qi has leaked out, for which I would be most grateful. This task is simple. Xiaoming and his siblings exchanged glances before nodding. We agree to this. Very well, please provide the karmic object so I may begin the calculation. Blue Cloud Venerable chuckled lightly. Xiaoming flipped his wrist, and a long robe appeared in front of him. This is the robe worn by our grand teacher Zhou. Since that person has received his heritage, there must be a powerful karmic connection with the grand teacher. I hope you can lend your help, Venerable. Blue Cloud Venerable took the robe with his hand but did not immediately search for the person. Instead, he chuckled and then gazed over. To employ the law of karma, one not only needs the blessings from the Bodhisattva Buddha statue but also has to adjust one's mental state, concentrate, and calm the mind. If you all trust me enough, leave this magic robe with me. By this time tomorrow, I will inform you of the results. The Venerable is widely respected across the land, we naturally trust you. Xiaoming nodded and gestured to his companions, let's go. Yes. The remaining 4 once again paid their respects and turned to leave. Upon leaving the room, the barefoot girl couldn't help but look back. Boss, is it really okay to leave the ancestral robe behind like this? Xiaoming shook his head. Don't worry, Blue Cloud Venerable is a high monk of the Buddhist sect. He wouldn't covet a mere robe. The flowing cloud-sleeved woman chuckled. It's just a robe, nothing of great concern. The main issue is that heavenly destiny successor. All of our cultivation is subject to his. Even if he tries to conceal himself, we would not be able to detect him even if he stood right before us. I fear only karma destiny will help us find him. The barefoot girl asked, what do we do once we find him? Before the flowing cloud-sleeved woman could answer, the middle-aged man in armor snorted coldly, what else can we do? The heavenly destiny of ceremony has always belonged to us, the most core inheritance should be ours too. Surely we won't be controlled by a mere junior after all our cultivation level. Once we find him, if he obediently surrenders the heavenly destiny, we can spare his life. If he refuses, then we'll kill him and strip it away. Leave his soul to me, I want to torment it properly. The middle-aged man holding the soul-summoning banner sneered with a twinkle in his eyes. After a moment of hesitation, the barefoot girl ultimately said nothing. The branch destinies must obey the main destiny. They are known as the five forms venerable sage, already accomplished and revered. How could they possibly obey some unknown and unseen junior? Ellipsis. Effortlessly obtained. Looking at the robe in front of him, Blue Cloud Venerable had a smile on his face. His karmic connection with the inheritor of the heavenly destiny of ceremony was very weak, only revealing that the other party could be found in Tianli City. He thought it would take a long time to find him through slow investigation. He didn't expect to be sent a pillow while dozing off. This five forms venerable sage brought such an important item to him. With the help of this item, he will certainly be able to determine the exact location of the person and thereby identify who it is. At that time, directly bringing him back to the Buddhist sect would suffice to report to the Buddha Lord. With a gentle wave of his hand, the formation in the courtyard activated, cloaking all auras, and then he once more set up the statues of the 8 bodhisattvas. After a series of worship, a faint light emerged on the robe, which then soared upward in the blink of an eye, shooting straight towards the exterior of the hall. This karma is indeed dense. Seeing the brightness of the light, even more dazzling than with his connection to the Frost Demon Lord, Blue Cloud Venerable could not help but sigh, striding out into the air. After flying for a few meters, he involuntarily stopped. He saw the light shooting out from their small courtyard, falling straight into the neighboring yard, and then the trace disappeared in an instant. It really is him. Stroking his beard, Blue Cloud Venerable nodded solemnly, his eyes filled with gravity. We'll return to dual updates next month, seeking a monthly pass base. 413. Conversion. Since there is cause and effect, there must be connections. Previously, there was speculation that the Zhang Xuanqing next door could be the inheritor of the heavenly destiny of ceremony, and now, it's 100% certain. As for whether it could be that Kong Shiming, when the two are together, it's clear that Zhang Xuanqing takes the lead. How could a mighty second-level heavenly destiny inheritor behave like this toward a minor figure? Losing the Frost Demon Lord but confirming the news of the heavenly destiny of ceremony, every sip and peck is predetermined by destiny. Since that's the case, let's hand him over to the Buddha first. The Blue Cloud Venerable smiled faintly. Having lost the 10 directions Bodhi Demon suppression rope, the Buddha will surely blame him. If he brings this fellow over now, perhaps he can compensate for the lost merit. With this thought, a flash of intent in his eyes, his mighty soul immediately spread out like quicksilver towards the neighboring courtyard. Ellipsis. In the room, Zhang Zan was sitting cross-legged. He had just advanced in strength, which was now slowly flowing through his meridians, tumbling like a stream of water. Galaxy 7 Dan, belonging to a 4-star Fate Master in the established Fate realm. This is one of the most critical stages in a Fate Master's practice, signifying complete control and reshaping of one's own destiny. In this realm, a Fate Master needs to break away from the wandering branches of fate, pinpoint their own conviction, and put forth 100% effort towards it. Destiny establishment, as the name implies, is about confirming one's destiny. Once established, it cannot be changed. Forcibly altering one's destiny could at best result in serious injury, or at worst, turn someone into a disabled person, unable to recover, or even cause immediate death. Because of its critical importance, as soon as he broke through this realm, Zhang Zan immediately felt a perfect fusion with the love destiny. The space destiny and Modao destiny he had practiced before were immediately rejected and no longer harmonized as before. Although he could still use these destiny abilities and techniques with the help of love destiny, it felt like passing commands through subordinates, creating a barrier. To put it plainly, love destiny is like the minor formless finger. As long as he practices, he can still display skills such as the Kusaya demon's suppression skill and formless finger, but he no longer practices these types of destiny in their purest form. However, for Zhang Zan, it didn't matter. Biting off more than one can chew is never good. He was not greedy by nature. Since love destiny was a better fit for him and of a higher level, he naturally would not give it up. Taking a deep breath and about to temper his whole body strength once more, he suddenly felt a hint of dizziness in his soul, and in the next moment, his consciousness disappeared from the room. Then, a vast river appeared before him, with unique rhythms echoing in his ears. Zhang Zan was stunned. He was clearly cultivating in his room. How did he end up here? There was doubt in his eyes as he carefully looked towards the river. The river's surface was vast and the water was surging. A light tap of his foot on the water surface immediately caused a light hum of chant to ring in his ears, continuously impacting his soul. Is this the river of destiny of a high monk from the Buddhist sect? Realizing what was happening, Zhang Zan's body wobbled, just about to turn and leave, when suddenly a gigantic Buddha appeared before him. 10 zhang tall, forming the orchid technique with his fingers, his entire being emitted golden light, conveying a sense of majesty and solemnity. His eyebrows drooped, and his eyes showed compassion, making one feel peaceful at a glance. You've traveled all the way to the source world, for what? Isn't it all for stronger power? As long as you convert, you can access the supreme resources of the Buddhist sect, and in short time, you can even charge towards the life sea realm, or even higher. The Buddhist sect will not only not interfere with your cultivation but can also provide assistance. All things in the world are but fleeting clouds, the true self is the most eternal, why bother with matters that don't matter? Ellipsis. In an instant, various thoughts flickered in Zhang Zan's mind, and his confused and panicked state of wandering gradually calmed down. Without realizing it, his hand formed the orchid technique, and he was about to bow his head in agreement. Above the river, the blue cloud venerable floated in the air, nodding in satisfaction. As long as this guy lowers his head, he will become my disciple, willingly converting to Buddhism. The Buddhist sect's power to transform others is unrivaled in the world. Even demon lords can easily be converted into high monks, let alone ordinary people. This young man, despite having decent talent, is after all only in his 20s, with insufficient experience in society. As long as my resolve is strong enough, he will definitely be unable to resist this temptation. Now it seems that it's about to end. As he was contemplating this, Zhang Zan, poised to bow down while performing the orchid technique, suddenly became aware of a thought from the Buddha's chant infiltrating his mind. No self, forget the self, discard all affections, only then can one witness the great Tao and enjoy the ultimate freedom. His slightly bewildered state of mind was jolted, and Zhang Zan immediately came to his senses. At this moment, he had reached the destiny establishment realm, with the love destiny perfectly integrated into his body. The Buddha's phantom in front of him, who actually wanted him to abandon it, was akin to discarding his life, naturally impossible to achieve. You want to convert me? Zhang Zan narrowed his eyes. Lucky for him, he had just reached the destiny establishment realm and his whole body was perfectly bound with the love destiny. Otherwise, just this attempt at conversion might have been too much to withstand, and he could have become a follower of the adversary. Who is it? During this time, he had been keeping to himself, offending no one, so why come over and do this? And what is the purpose? Blue Cloud Venerable. His gaze flashed as he thought of someone. Although his current strength wasn't exceptionally strong, it had still reached Galaxy 7 Dan. To be able to subtly pull him into a space of intent, and so easily disrupt his spirit almost to the point of conversion, apart from this high-ranking Buddhist monk, he feared no one else could do so. Could it be, the other party knows that I have captured the Frost Demon Lord and thus made a move against me? No, that's not right. The essence pill of the Frost Demon Lord, from the moment it arrived, had been stored in the library of Heaven's Path. It doesn't matter if it's a blue cloud venerable or even the Buddha himself, it's doubtful they could detect it. Moreover, if it were really about that matter, a direct demand would suffice, there was no need for a covert psychic attack. However, regardless of the reason, making a secret move that nearly caused him to fall into the trap, had already touched his bottom line. His strength is formidable, and now I am in his space of intent. With the river of destiny sealing it, even thoughts of escape would likely be futile. Understanding his predicament, Zhang Zan was not in a hurry to make a decision, but instead pondered secretly. It was possible to seal away the essence pill of the Frost Demon Lord because its corpse had been destroyed. Inside the library of Heaven's Path, he was an invincible being. But now, in the adversary's territory, not to mention his cultivation was insufficient. Even if his cultivation were stronger, it would be difficult to escape. A safe method must be devised. Convert to Buddhism, witness the great Tao, achieve ultimate freedom, unimaginable bliss. As he hesitated, words laced with Zen wisdom from Blue Cloud Venerable echoed in the air. The sound slowly ringing in his ears penetrated his soul, causing Zhang Zan's recently sober spirit to once again become hesitant and confused. Just when he was on the verge of succumbing again, a thought flashed through his mind. Blue Cloud Venerable's River of Destiny has reached at least the 7th level, maybe even the 8th. Previously, even trying to observe it was impossible, but if I could link with the love destiny, could I continuously obtain heavenly mandate vitality? 414. Fragments of the Heavens Connection. Zhang Zan immediately became exhilarated. His current obstacle in practice was the lack of sufficient heavenly mandate vitality. The river before him was made entirely of Yuan power. Although it possessed the attributes of the Buddhist sect, as long as he could draw it into the library of Heaven's Path, it could transform into books and then metamorphose into pure strength without any attributes. This was the effect of a cheat device. Besides, to extract someone else's river of destiny, one must first have the cultivation that can counteract fate and not be tainted by others. Next, it requires that others open their fragments of the heavens to him. The Blue Cloud Venerable, by bringing him here and attempting to convert him, unwittingly gave him this opportunity. Having comprehended the love destiny to the 4th level and accomplished destiny establishment, he possessed the ability to counteract and remain untainted by fate. Coupled with having a superior destiny over the opponent, he should be able to suppress it, without suffering from backlash. All was in readiness. With a glint in his eye, a strand of love silk as thin as a hair, spread quietly from under his feet, connecting with the river below. In the past, connecting with other destinies was always done passively. This was his first time taking proactive action, and it felt quite satisfying, to say the least. However, the river before him was immaculate, resembling the extramundane waters of Rushui River, which bore nothing improper. Upon contact, the love silk pierced straight through it without leaving a trace. Zhang Zan frowned. It was easy to conceive, but not as simple to execute. Each destiny has its own attributes. To merge with it, one must find a commonality. Otherwise, even if two raging rivers collide, they would separate quickly like oil and water. The love destiny can connect with the space destiny, Modao destiny, and fox charm destiny, because they all involve emotion, in some form. To enchant others, the fox charm destiny must first stir up the other's emotions, creating a favorable impression. Only then can it mingle with the love destiny. The Modao destiny is the same. Whether it's an unstoppable momentum or the bravery to cut through the ages, it all relates to emotions. Without emotions as a backing, no matter how powerful a saber art is, it becomes meaningless. As for the space destiny, it seems unrelated to emotions, but those who cultivate it, to wield this power, cannot escape from the shackles of emotion. Just like his desire to return to Han Yuan City, it surely means there is someone or something there that he worries about or perhaps danger. Whatever the case, it can cause emotional turbulence. The space destiny within the library of Heaven's Path is controlled in this very manner by the love silk. Destiny is a cultivator's fate. With fate, naturally comes love, hatred, joy, and sorrow. This blue cloud venerable should not be an exception. As long as the connection is found, it can be made. Intense flickered through Zhongzhan's mind. At this moment, he saw that this high-ranking monk of the Buddhist sect was cultivating the selfless destiny. This type of destiny requires forgetting oneself, forgetting all emotions, and because of this, it appears exceptionally detached. But even the most detached individuals have their desires. With desire comes distractions, and from distractions arise love, hate, joy, and sorrow, and from these, love silk can be born. I guessed correctly. His personal desire is to achieve enlightenment. For the blue cloud venerable, whether its disciples or teachers, death is just death, causing no emotional ripples. But not achieving enlightenment would undoubtedly ignite a storm of anger. Without a doubt, this is the defect. With that thought, the love silk extended along the river, and in an instant, it reached a huge wave upstream from where he was located. This must be the turbulent emotional surge caused by the loss of the Frost Demon Lord's essence pill. The love silk flickered, instantaneously transforming into countless emotions and charging towards the wave in front of it. Initially met with resistance, it soon bonded firmly together, inseparable from then on. Its anger and regret. Soon, Zhongzhan was aware of the emotions retained in the surging waves, tightly connecting love silk strands and silently mobilizing the love destiny. Indeed, he felt the heavenly mandate vitality being drawn into the library of heaven's path, rustling into book after book. It worked. Zhongzhan was excited, although the threads were very fine and the flow of heavenly mandate vitality each time wasn't too much. As time passed, it was not to be underestimated. At the current speed, as long as he wasn't discovered, forming 1 million books a day was not a problem. Most importantly, love silk had an extremely strong extensibility. Whenever there was an urgent need for fragments of the heavens, it could instantly expand tenfold, 100-fold, and then, forming 1 million or even 10 million books in a single breath was highly possible. That's great. With this love silk, it's like holding onto a massive support. There's no need to worry about the embarrassment of not having enough heavenly mandate vitality for a while. Hide. Knowing that devouring too much in a short time could easily be discovered, Zhongzhan intended a thought, and the love silk silently concealed itself, no longer leaving any trace. After doing all this, just as he was feeling relieved, Zhongzhan heard grand chanting from above his head, resonating once again. If you won't convert now, then when will you? The voice was like thunder, ceaselessly assaulting his soul. It was Qingyan, having seen that half a day had passed and he had yet to convert a cultivator of the galaxy realm, growing anxious and unleashing his strongest power. Convert my ass. Muttering in his mind, just as Zhongzhan was about to retort, an idea popped up. If he resisted now and the other party enforced their power, given his strength, it would be hard to escape. It would be better to go along with the plot. After all, once destiny establishment is done, love destiny would protect the soul, and no matter how many tricks the other side had, he could keep his original intention unaffected. But how to pretend to convert without being discovered by the other party? Deceiving a cultivator of the same level was easy for him using love destiny and various methods, but the other party was at least a powerhouse of life C realm 8 Dan or above, and it was probably not so easy to bluff his way past. Frost Demon Lord. Zhongzhan thought of someone. At his peak, Frost Demon Lord's cultivation was not inferior to that of Qingyan, and as a high-ranking member of the demon clan and an arch-enemy of the Buddhist sect, he must have methods to deceive the other party. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to escape smoothly even while bound by the 10 directions Bodhi demon suppression rope. With a thought, his consciousness returned to the library of heaven's path. If this guy isn't willing to speak, then educate him thoroughly, and if that doesn't work, soul search. Knowing that the proud Frost Demon Lord might not reveal such secrets, Zhongzhan wasn't worried. Inside the library of heaven's path, he was the ruler, and controlling an already subdued essence pill was not a problem. Whoosh! His intention took form as his own visage and appeared in front of the proud and unyielding Demon Lord. I have a question to ask you. After pausing for a moment, just as he was about to speak, he saw the previously thought to be stubborn and hard to humble demon lord suddenly kneel down with one knee, showing a face full of devotion and excitement. Master, you are back. Whatever you need your subordinate to do, I am willing to go through fire and water and shatter my body into pieces. 415. Forge Essence Pill. At this moment, Frost Demon Lord, transformed into human shape by the power of the Essence Pill, had a face full of respect instead of contempt, not a trace of arrogance to be seen. Zhang Zan looked perplexed. Although he had subdued the opponent last time, one could still tell that the fellow was not truly convinced, but he did not expect such a drastic change after merely half a day apart. However, this was good too. It would be easier to ask questions and avoid being deceived. Thinking this, he did not beat around the bush and directly asked, I encountered Blue Cloud Venerable, and he wants to convert me. How can I pretend to be converted by him without being discovered? Frost Demon Lord didn't expect that person to have found this place and hesitated before saying, the Buddhist conversion technique is very formidable, and even I would struggle to resist it. But you are different. If used correctly, it should not be difficult for you. Zhang Zan was curious, why do you say that? Frost Demon Lord nodded. The Buddhist conversion is essentially a restructuring of the law of cause and effect, using the effect of being converted to trace back to the cause that can lead to conversion. It is achieved by planting the Buddha's mark in your soul, making you feel deep within your heart that you are meant to be part of the Buddhist sect. I cannot resist because cause and effect are among the pinnacle of Tier 2 destinies, and my cultivation is far inferior. In a confrontation, I would inevitably be assimilated. But it's different for you. The love destiny is far superior to cause and effect. As long as the strength is sufficient to transcend cause and effect without being eroded, it will be effortless. Zhang Zan suddenly understood and asked, what should I do? Frost Demon Lord thought for a moment and then said, if you had the same cultivation as I do, you could easily do it without any tricks. But with a galaxy realm cultivation, resisting the conversion technique of a life C9 Dan powerhouse is extremely difficult. Nonetheless, it's not impossible. It's just that the method is somewhat tough and carries risks. Zhang Zan said, let's hear it. Frost Demon Lord replied, my essence pill contains all of my cultivation and power. If you can forge it and activate it, you can burst forth with the power of life C9 Dan in a short time, and then, using the facade of the love destiny, not to mention Blue Cloud Venerable, even if a bodhisattva were to come personally, they might not notice. Forge an essence pill. Burst forth with life C9 Dan power. Zhang Zan was stunned. Frost Demon Lord nodded. The entire cultivation of a demon clan cultivator resides within the essence pill, but the power is too strong. I fear your soul may not be enough, you might be unable to control it. And if you cannot control it, you are highly likely to suffer backlash and become demonized. In the past, he would never have revealed the risk of demonization, letting the other party try, because if backlash occurred, he would have the chance to erase the other's soul and possess the corpse. But having witnessed the other's talent, he genuinely submitted, and he dared not entertain such minor deceitful thoughts any longer. One who perceives the first-level destiny must be a person of great destiny. How could he be so easily erased by him? If he attempted to steal a chicken only to lose the rice, he would only end up dying miserably. Tell me the method of forging the essence pill. Seeing his thoughts, Zhang Zan was slightly surprised but still nodded his head. All right. The Frost Demon Lord did not say more and transmitted the method for forging the essence pill. Zhang Zan's intent flickered, and shortly afterward, he was as familiar with it as the back of his hand. With the help of the Library of Heaven's Path, he confirmed there were no issues, and then with a flick of his finger, his profound intent immediately spread towards the essence pill. Boom! As soon as he entered, he immediately felt a surge of demonic cheese churning towards him, seemingly about to completely engulf him. Resist. His eyebrows raised. Zhang Zan's intent became as unmovable as a mountain range. If he were merely at Galaxy 7 Dan, he indeed wouldn't dare to attempt to forge the essence pill from a life C9 Dan powerhouse, but he was a master of one realm. His soul had already perfectly fused with the new world, and although his current body might not withstand it, a whole world would definitely have no problems whatsoever. Sure enough, after merging with the new world, even though the demonic chi within the essence pill was powerful, it could no longer affect him. To forge this essence pill, the first step is to be able to enter the core. As he pondered over the method to forge, Zhongzhan couldn't help but peer into the interior of the essence pill. From the outside, the essence pill was only the size of a ping-pong ball, but when soul energy entered it, one would find it as vast as a world, with towering might. Even though the demonic chi no longer had much effect on him, reaching the core still presented some troubles. It was like swimming against the current. The stream may not cause injury, yet it would still bring significant resistance. If there was a way to purify the demonic chi along the way and create a clear path. A flash of spiritual light in Zhongzhan's mind. Usually, purifying demonic chi requires various methods, but the Buddhist sect just happens to counteract it, so let's try using Blue Cloud Venerable's heavenly mandate vitality. To purify demonic chi normally, one would need various pills and celestial treasures, or they'd have to use their soul to forge it, which is not only time-consuming and laborious, but even a slight mishap could lead to demonic chi invasion, causing serious injury. However, he had just connected with Blue Cloud Venerable's River of Destiny using Love Silk. Perhaps he could leverage the Yuan power fostered there to create a straight pathway to the core in this place. No sooner thought than done, his stamina circulated, and a strand of Love Silk immediately spread out. And in the next moment, the surging Buddhist heavenly mandate vitality rushed forth. Upon touching the demonic chi, both dissipated, turning into a faint light. Forming the Yuan power into armor around his body, Zhongzhan stepped forward, and immediately flew swiftly towards the front, no longer feeling any resistance. As expected of heavenly mandate vitality honed by a high monk of the Buddhist sect, it's incredibly handy. After more than a dozen breaths, Zhongzhan arrived at the core of the essence pill, where the demonic chi was even richer. However, protected by the Buddhist heavenly mandate vitality, he felt no pressure at all. After leaving a space imprint behind, he then reached out his finger toward the most central point of light. Boom! In an instant, the essence pill received his soul imprint and was completely forged. In forging the essence pill, Zhongzhan also understood the price to be paid for utilizing this pill. Just as the Frost Demon Lord had said, once used, he could possess the strength of life C9 Dan for a short period, but his current corpse and meridians wouldn't be able to endure it, especially the heart, which might explode before its strength is even fully unleashed. This is like installing a fighter jet's engine on a car. Even though it might work, it is almost a one-time deal, a loss beyond reckoning. Moreover, each use would let the demonic chi invade the mind. To be unaffected, one would need a tremendous amount of Buddhist power to neutralize it. Although the love destiny connected to Blue Cloud Venerable's River of Destiny, with sufficient Yuan power, once it's used up in large quantities, it's very likely to be detected by the other party, resulting in unnecessary complications. Forget it, better not. Use it for now. Realizing this, Zhongzhan's spirit returned, and he lifted his head once again to look at the gigantic Buddha statue in front of him, his eyes becoming hazy. He couldn't borrow the essence pill's full power, but to use a part of it to disguise himself as having been converted should still be doable. 416. Reincarnation Relic Tower. Boom. As Zhongzhan's mind relaxed, a sound akin to the deep tolling of a yellow bell reverberated through his mind, forming a swastika-shaped pattern. Buddha's mark. In an instant, the swastika-shaped mark shone brilliantly, like a light screen, projecting the path Zhongzhan had previously traveled. Tianchuan Kingdom Apprenticeship, rising to fame on Master-Teacher Continent, becoming Nine Heavens Emperor in the Empyrean realm. Scene after scene of memories flickered like flowing water, all stamped with the swastika, as if a watermark had been added to a film. If one cannot resist, when recalling these memories, they would naturally feel that their present stature is all due to the Buddhist sect. This Buddha's mark can not only change a person's initial thoughts, but also tamper with memories, forming a wholehearted devotion. What a formidable method! Recognizing the power of the conversion technique, Zhongzhan let out a sigh of admiration. Immediately, his essence pill started spinning, and in the next moment, the surging demonic chi spread with the aid of the love destiny, and upon contact with the swastika, promptly obliterated the watermark completely. Sensing imminent destruction, the swastika jolted, trying to retreat, but saw the love destiny gently sway, already enveloping it within, leading to complete suppression. Zhang Zan breathed a sigh of relief, his eyes showing a color of devotion. His right hand formed the orchid technique while his left performed a salute, bowing toward the projected image of Buddha, and a sonorous voice slowly arose. Amitabha Buddha, the Buddha is merciful, I am willing to convert. The blue cloud venerable pressed his palms together, nodding in satisfaction, most benevolent. Under normal conversion, even Life C Realm Tier 3 or 4 powerhouses would be successfully converted by him within just a few breaths. Yet this one before him took a whole quarter of an hour. Truly worthy of being the inheritor of the heavenly destiny of ceremony, his talent is indeed strong. With his heart filled with emotion and a gentle gaze, the chanting resumed, since you are willing, from today on, follow me and obey my commands. Yes. Zhang Zan nodded in agreement. The blue cloud venerable appeared slightly pleased and asked, you must have inherited the heavenly destiny of ceremony, right? Zhang Zan was taken aback for a moment before he realized. No wonder this man attacked without any warning, it turns out he mistook me for Empyrean Kong Shi. To convert a cultivator of the heavenly destiny of ceremony is to control a second-level heavenly destiny. This man has grand ambitions. He was just about to deny it when a thought struck him. He nodded and replied, indeed. If he said otherwise, the man would surely seek out Empyrean Kong Shi. If that is the case, why not agree and delay the matter? Good. Practice diligently, and strive to inherit all the strengths soon, applying the rule of ceremony for the Buddhist sect and propagating it to the world. The blue cloud venerable smiled. Certainly. Zhang Zan nodded, his expression showing a bit of difficulty. However, my aptitude is dull and my progress in cultivation agonizingly slow. If the venerable has suitable cultivation methods or artifacts at hand, could you bestow some upon me, to quickly advance my cultivation and serve earlier? Bestow artifacts. A hint of puzzlement crossed the blue cloud venerable's face. He had converted others before and had seen other venerables do the same, where the converted were respectful and followed instructions obediently. This was the first time he'd heard anyone asking for artifacts. Studying the youth carefully, he saw he was filled with piety, his eyes blazing with fervor towards him. He has indeed been converted. It makes sense, as the inheritor of the heavenly destiny of ceremony, his talent is outstanding. If he were like other people, turning into a puppet that only obeys orders, it would instead diminish his usefulness. The ceremony is a second-level heavenly destiny, and it is indeed somewhat difficult to forge. I don't have any better method. Blue Cloud Venerable hesitated for a moment, then with a flip of his wrist, a 9-story pagoda appeared in his palm. Here is a reincarnation relic tower containing 9 layers of Buddhist lands, the supreme celestial treasure of our Buddhist sect. I now bestow it upon you for use. After you have fully comprehended the heavenly destiny of ceremony, you can return it to me. Reincarnation Relic Tower. Zhang Zan was puzzled as he reached out to receive it. Requesting an artifact was something he said offhand, since he had already been converted. Not taking advantage to gain some benefits did not suit his character. He thought the other party would flatly refuse, but to his surprise, they actually gave it to him. However, it's just a Buddhist pagoda, it shouldn't be too strong. Murmuring to himself, just as he took the relic tower, he heard the excited voice of the Frost Demon Lord within his mind resound. To think that it's the reincarnation relic tower, Blue Cloud Venerable is really generous, Master, you've made a fortune. How so? Zhang Zan inquired in his heart. By forging the essence pill, as long as he wished, the Frost Demon Lord could also see the outside world. Facing this high-ranked member of the Buddhist sect, Zhang Zan wasn't very confident, which is why he had this strong member of the demon sect constantly observe, ready to flee immediately if anything seemed amiss. The androgynous voice of the Frost Demon Lord spoke rapidly. the Reincarnation Relic Tower, with Bodhi wood as its frame and engraved with Sanskrit from the Karma scriptures of past, present, and future, has 9 layers, each one a Buddhist land, and each floor seals the relics of a high monk, possessing immense mysteries and effects. The first layer holds the white bone sky observation relics. Sitting within it allows one to observe the 3 karmic forces within oneself. By leveraging this power, one can quickly comprehend the heavenly destinies related to their karma, thus eliminating hidden dangers in advance, but each day, it can only be sustained for a maximum of 3 timings. The second layer holds the karma fire red lotus relics, which can turn one's own sins into real scarlet lotuses. Each burned lotus increases one's intelligence by a fraction, but one must endure the pain of karmic fire burning the heart. The third layer holds the destiny-colored glaze relics, which can temporarily suppress certain negative emotions, allowing for greater focus and concentration. I only know the effects of these 3 layers, I'm not aware of the others. However, even just these 3 layers are extremely terrifying. Precisely for this reason, this Reincarnation Relic Tower is considered a treasure even within the entire Buddhist sect. Blue Cloud Venerable actually has it, and he's willing to lend it to you for use. It's unimaginable. That powerful. Zhang Zan was startled. He thought it was just some trinket casually given by the other party, not realizing its true value. He had hit the jackpot. The other party must have considered him as converted, more or less a puppet, which is why they were so generous. After all, it was only a loan, and it would be returned sooner or later. These thoughts flashed through his mind momentarily, and just as Zhang Zan was about to stow the relic tower into his storage ring, he heard the high monk in front of him chant a Buddha name, and a soft voice rang out once again. Cultivate well. Once I retrieve the essence pill of the Frost Demon Lord, I will take you back to the Buddhist sect to pay homage to Buddha. Yes, Zhang Zan responded. The next moment, he saw Blue Cloud Venerable wave his hand, and his whole person wavered, immediately tumbling down from the river of destiny. Then, the phantasm space before him vanished, and he was back in his own room. Everything around him was exactly as it had been, as if the previous experiences were all just a dream. Were it not for the pagoda in his palm, calmly floating and emitting a powerful and unparalleled aura, he would have doubted whether it was real. 417. White Bone Sky Observation Relics. Let's see if it's as powerful as the Frost Demon Lord mentioned. Looking down at the tower, Zhang Zan was filled with curiosity. The Reincarnation Relic Tower stood 9 inches tall, carved from Bodhi wood, not too heavy, giving it a somewhat weightless feel. Upon closer inspection, each tile was engraved with Sanskrit script from the Karma scripture representing the past, present, and future, making it appear as if it transcends time itself. With a flick of his finger, a drop of blood fell onto the tower's peak, paused for a moment, then slid off gently. Unable to forge it, it appears to be claimed already. Zhang Zan now understood why the other party was so generous. Such a precious artifact was readily given away. It turned out to be claimed by someone else, ready to be reclaimed at any time. Since it was claimed, he could only use it for a short time, which greatly dampened his excitement. Let's go inside and see first. Knowing that direct forging could alert its original owner, Zhang Zan, feeling disappointed, lightly touched the top of the tower with his palm. Whoosh! In a flash, he was already inside the first layer of the relic tower. It was a vast space, with a fingertip-sized rotating sphere floating in midair, darting around and emitting a faint golden light. Is this the White Bone Sky Observation relics that the Frost Demon Lord mentioned? Zhang Zan looked on curiously. The relic in front of him, clear as jade, sparkled brilliantly. As soon as it made contact with his soul, it emitted 3 faint gray lines that extended into the phantasm space. This must be the causality line. According to the Frost Demon Lord, the White Bone Sky Observation relics on the first floor allowed cultivators to observe the 3 forces of causality within themselves. By harnessing this force, one could rapidly comprehend the fragments of the heavens related to their own causality, thus eliminating hidden dangers in advance. In other words, it helps one perceive causality and figure out how to avoid or escape it. According to Buddhist sayings, the less causality one has, the purer their practice and the quicker their progress. His soul spread out, following the faint gray lines, and in the next moment, a series of images appeared before his eyes. It was Yao Chunwen and his grandson he had met in the teleportation formations of Wanxiang City. He had some interactions with the two, and although they had been dealt with, some causality remained. This kind of causality is useless to me, it can only cause trouble. Misfortune is where fortune relies, fortune is where misfortune lies. Zhang Zan firmly believed that nothing in the world is permanent, just like when he was captured by the blue cloud venerable into the river of destiny, meant to be transformed into a puppet, but not only did he survive, he also gained the trust of the other party and obtained the artifact before him. But there are some matters where excessive involvement only brings trouble, without any chance to convert into benefits. Just like the causality between him and Yao Chunwen, no matter if they sought him out or something happened, it would only bring him trouble. Sever. Understanding this, his intention controlled the white bone sky observation relics in the air and slashed at the line. Crack. The line snapped, and in the next moment, Zhang Zan felt as though his soul had taken a hot bath, indescribably relieved, and his thoughts now moved much quicker. Zhang Zan was shocked, hardly believing. Is this what it means to sever causality? In the midst of obscurity, he could distinctly feel that there would be no more intersections in the future between him and Yao Chunwen and his grandson. This feeling was as if he had rid himself of fleas and moths from his body, making his soul energy much purer. No wonder the high monks from the Buddhist sect always sever causality and completely delineate themselves from the past, abandoning everything. Indeed, it makes living much easier. Amidst his musings, Zhang Zan looked again towards the second line, and what appeared in his mind was a somewhat unfamiliar face. Is this a guard in the courtyard? Zhang Zan recognized. He indeed had seen this face before, a common guard in the courtyard. He could ensure they had never spoken before, yet the thin line in the air was much thicker than Yao Chunwen's. This meant that the causality between them was even deeper than that with Yao Chunwen. Just because he served as a guard here, it shouldn't be. They had never spoken. What causality could there be? Even if there was, it should have intersected more with Sun Chang. Sever. Feeling strange in his heart yet without much hesitation, he intended, and the white bone sky observation relic in the air also slashed down. The thin line made a wish sound as it was cut apart. Zhang Zan felt a bit relieved, and looking again, he found that the causality line was not completely severed, but still lingered, giving a sense of unresolved strands. Zhang Zan frowned, and through his intention, he conveyed his doubts to the Frost Demon Lord and soon received a reply. Some insignificant causality can be easily cut off, but strong causality can only be avoided. It's hard to completely sever. Just like with parents and origin, even if you don't want to continue, it's nearly impossible to sever because you can't change your birth, change your bloodline. Oh. Zhang Zan suddenly understood. Some people, dissatisfied with their parents' actions and sever relations with them, it appears as though they are cutting off causality, yet in reality they only reduce communication. The actual causality remains unsevered. Because, one cannot deny their origins, bloodline, and life. It seems this guy is somewhat peculiar. Grasping this, Zhang Zan became filled with curiosity. The other party was just an ordinary guard in the courtyard. Theoretically speaking, there should be little causality between them, and once cut, there should be no further connection, yet now it couldn't be severed. Clearly, there was an anomaly. However, being unable to sever it didn't matter much. Knowing in advance that there was causality could allow one to prepare earlier, to better defend. He continued to look towards the third causality line, which was also someone familiar, Bian Zhongwen, responsible for their drug testing. Because of allowing him to test drugs, he met Elder Zhong Li and thus obtained enough merit points. The causal connection between them was deeper and the thread's color was heavier. As he drove the white bone sky observation relic to fall, hoping even a slight reduction would ease things a bit, he didn't expect that just a touch would instantly break the line. Zhang Zan was a bit confused. Logically, his entanglement with this Bian Zhongwen was much more than with that ordinary guard, yet the latter could not be severed, but the former was easily disconnected. This was extremely odd. It seems that the so-called causality is more complex than imagined. It's not weaker with lesser contact, nor is it harder to sever with more contact. Like some colleagues, basically without interaction, never even touched hands, yet they can affect part of your decisions, while some tea-selling girls, though deeply engaged in light conversation, skin to skin, can be easily parted with, never to contact again in the future. It's not that more contact deepens causality, nor is it that no contact means no causality. Standing in place and reflecting for a while, knowing he could only inspect 3 lines each day and that they are random, not fixed, staying here longer was meaningless. Zhang Zan gave a slight sway and entered the second layer of the reincarnation relic tower. 418. Eternal Golden Body. The second layer contains karma fire red lotus relics, which allow one to transform their sins into a physical red lotus that burns intensely. The so-called sins refer to killings and some negative emotions. Burning them utterly purifies the soul, thereby making the practice twice as effective with half the effort. Of course, some negative emotions cannot be eliminated, such as fear, dread, worry. Once one enters the third layer, they are temporarily suppressed by the destiny-colored glaze relics, allowing one to practice without concerns and with more focus. Sitting cross-legged in the space of the third layer, after practicing for an unknown amount of time, Zhang Zan slowly rose, feeling his soul becoming purer. Having experienced the capabilities and effects of the first 3 layers, and having some free time now, he decided to explore the 4th layer. A moment later, Zhang Zan frowned. The reincarnation relic tower before him appeared to have only 3 layers. With his abilities and methods, he could not access deeper levels. It seemed as if the 4th layer, and even the subsequent 5th layer, did not exist at all. It might be due to not having been forged. The reincarnation relic tower is a Buddhist celestial treasure, and the subsequent 6 layers involve deeper secrets, inaccessible without forging. Frost Demon Lord voiced his speculation. Some celestial treasures cannot be used without being forged. Zhang Zan's ability to enter the first 3 layers is likely because the owner of the reincarnation relic tower had only opened access to these 3 layers. Why not try to forge it? Zhang Zan pondered, his left hand supporting his chin. Having significantly benefited from the first 3 levels, if the next 6 levels could also be unlocked, it might indeed be possible to swiftly advance to Galaxy 9 Dan, or even Life C realm, instantly becoming a pinnacle master. But once it's forged, the original owner would definitely become aware. It's better not to take the risk for now. After pondering for a moment, Zhang Zan ultimately dismissed the idea. Once an artifact recognizes a master, it establishes a unique connection. Any attempt to forge it would undoubtedly alert the other party. With his current cultivation, it's preferable to focus quietly on development, unnecessarily provoking suspicions from Blue Cloud. Venerable is totally unnecessary. Do you not know at all what relics and effects the subsequent layers contain? As they exited the relic tower, Zhang Zan asked once more. The Frost Demon Lord pondered for a moment and then said, I've heard a bit, but I'm not sure. Oh. Zhang Zan curiously looked over. The Frost Demon Lord said, has the master ever heard of the eternal golden body? Zhang Zan wore a puzzled expression, with a big question mark evident in his eyes. The Frost Demon Lord continued, the eternal golden body, also known as the ultimate celestial saint, represents the most desired and extravagant perfect state that a cultivator aspires to achieve. Once attained, the body will meld with the fragments of the heavens, becoming indestructible, no longer worrying about the exhaustion of longevity or being surpassed after having your fragments of the heavens taken. This, after pondering for a moment, Zhang Zan couldn't help but ask, is this eternal golden body beyond the cultivation of Life C realm? That is, what Blue Cloud Venerable referred to as Bodhisattva fruit position. Frost Demon Lord shook his head, of course not. A realm is a realm, and a golden body is a golden body. There are many who have transcended the Life C realm, not to mention others, the Buddha's 8 bodhisattvas, and the various demon monarchs of the demon sect have all achieved this, but alas, none possess the eternal golden body. Zhang Zan was shocked. It's that rare. Whether it's the Buddha's bodhisattvas or demon monarchs, they represent the pinnacle of existence in the source world, and yet none of them possess the eternal golden body. It seems this is indeed no simple matter. The eternal golden body, once achieved, embodies the universe itself, not willing to let even a trace of the fragments of the heavens' essence leak out, truly pure and untainted. It is a realm coveted by countless cultivators. I myself had once dreamt of it, even going to the lengths of balancing yin and yang for a breakthrough, deliberately making myself androgynous, and you see the result. If I had succeeded, how could the blue cloud venerable have ambushed me? Despair tinged the voice of the frost demon lord. Zhang Zan was at a loss for words. The other's voice was neither masculine nor feminine, fluctuating between both. At first, he thought it was a special preference, but it turned out to be for practicing this so-called golden body. What does this have to do with the reincarnation relic tower? Zhang Zan asked. The 9-tiered tower contains 9 Buddha bones, each corresponding to the most difficult part to cultivate in the golden body, supposedly forged by Buddha himself to assist later generations aiming for the eternal golden body. Of course, that's just a legend. Whether it's true or not, I'm not sure. The frost demon lord shook his head. Zhang Zan did not continue to ask. Whether it is the eternal golden body or something else, it was all too distant for him. The urgent priority was to achieve a breakthrough to life's sea realm to have the power to defend himself. After all, whether transformed or not, in the short term he might deceive the blue cloud venerable, but over time, discrepancies would undoubtedly be noticed, and then, he would only have to think of a way to escape. Feeling contemplative and just about to ask the frost demon lord if there were quicker ways to cultivate, a knock on the door was heard, followed by the voice of Sun Chang. Young master, someone outside is looking for you. They claim to be from the medicine sect. Zhang Zan showed a trace of confusion. Hadn't Elder Zhang Li said it would be 3 days before he and Empyrean Kong went over to test pills again? It had only been a few hours. Why had someone been sent already? In the council hall, indeed sat an elder. It was none other than Elder Yao Yun whom he had met before. Though this elder, in the presence of Elder Zhang Li, casually assigned tasks like a follower, he held a very high status within the entire medicine sect. His personal arrival made Zhang Zan full of curiosity. I've met Elder Yao Yun, how come you've come in person? Elder Yao Yun flicked his sleeve, his expression indifferent. Bian Zhongwen was killed on the way back. There is no one else available, so the teacher sent me to fetch you over. Zhang Zan anxiously waved his hands. His death has nothing to do with me. I know it has nothing to do with you. The teacher wanted you to go for a drug test. Don't worry. Elder Yao Yun waved his hand dismissively. Zhang Zan finally breathed a sigh of relief. Didn't the elder ask me to come over after 3 days? Why the change of plans so soon? Elder Yao Yun said. Initially, the Blue Cloud Venerable wanted to forge pills, but he just left without saying anything. The teacher couldn't wait for him and sent me to call you over. Zhang Zan suddenly understood. It seems his earlier guess was right. Perhaps the Blue Cloud Venerable had intended to use the Frost Demon Lord as a main ingredient and couldn't proceed with pill forging. To an alchemist maniac like Zhang Li, waiting was too much trouble. Thus, he simply sent someone directly. Let's go. Soon, Empyrean Kong was also called over, and the two of them followed him out of the courtyard, one following the other. On the carriage, Zhang Zan cautiously asked, isn't killing forbidden within the city? How could Lord Bian Zhongwen still be killed? He had just severed a causal relationship with the man, and the guy died. Theoretically, a causal relationship is just a tie, without much substantive connection. Cutting it shouldn't lead to death. 419. Initiating strength. I'm not sure about the specifics myself, but I've already sent someone to investigate, Elder Yao Yun explained. Zhang Zan was startled. Just an investigation. No matter what, Bian Zhongwen had made considerable contributions to the medicine sect. His sudden death was met with nothing more than an investigation. Aren't they going to pursue it to the end? Who in cultivation isn't mortal? Elder Yao Yun looked puzzled, then seemed to remember something, and slapped his forehead. Right, the teacher has instructed me to bring you back within a quarter of an hour. The carriage is too slow, it might not wait for us. I'll take you. Without waiting for Zhongzhan and Empyrean Kongxi to resist, he reached out with a grasp into the air and pulled the two of them into flight. Feeling the whistling of the wind, Zhongzhan realized that he was already being pulled into the air by the other party. It was just for a trial of medicine, yet the other party was so anxious. With an expression of speechlessness, Zhongzhan was about to say something when he heard a loud shout coming from below, followed by sword chi shooting out from the city, blocking the way. Who goes there? Flying within Tianli city was strictly forbidden, a rule that was quite clear. As Zhongzhan thought they were definitely going to run into trouble, he saw Elder Yao Yun wave his hand, and a token appeared floating in the air, suddenly releasing a dazzling light. Medicine Sect's Emergency Pill Forging, Special Passage. With the statement, a massive, medicine, character emerged from the spiritual token. So it's an elder from the medicine sect, let them pass. The voice from before immediately became respectful, and the sword chi disappeared as if it had never been there. Let's go. Elder Yao Yun said no more, withdrew the token with a grasp, and sped off with Zhongzhan and the others. Empyrean Kongxi and Zhongzhan exchanged glances, both seeing shock in each other's eyes. The medicine sect's various pills can help solidify the imperial power of the Tianli Empire, so naturally they are granted certain privileges. It's not just about flying in the outer city, even in the inner city, nobody would dare to say a word. Seeing their astonishment, Elder Yao Yun spoke with pride, then shook his head. Of course, these privileges are nothing of interest. What joy can compare to forging pills? I really don't know why so many people are fighting tooth and nail over such things. Zhongzhan's residence was not far from the medicine sect, and with Elder Yao Yun's swift speed, they were already approaching as they talked. There was no pause, they flew directly inside, and in a short moment, they were back in the living room where Elder Zhong had met them earlier. Bang! Before they even entered, a booming noise was heard, followed by billowing smoke spreading out. The windows and doors of the room flew open, letting through waves of heat. Ah, too late. Elder Yao Yun stopped and slapped his forehead in regret. What's too late? Zhongzhan asked, puzzled. Elder Yao Yun said, it's the opening of the primordial dragon tripod. If we had come a bit earlier, we might have been able to see it. As he spoke, the three of them entered the room. The thick smoke had already dissipated, revealing a huge cauldron placed in the center of the spacious hall. Yao Chen and a few other elders stood on either side, while Elder Zhong Li stood in front of the cauldron. The cauldron, made of an unknown material, was grayish-green and appeared incredibly heavy. Its lid was open, emitting residual warmth and a bit of dust. Evidently, the thick smoke had poured out from here just moments ago. Teacher, I have brought them. Elder Yao Yun quickly stepped forward. Just in time. Elder Zhong Li glanced at Zhongzhan and Empyrean Kongxi with a smile of satisfaction, then turned his head again. With a flick of his palm, a large pile of medicinal materials flew into the medicine tripod. The next moment, a stretch of the River of Destiny appeared, suspending and cradling the cauldron, transforming into several dragons prowling around it. In an instant, the cauldron began to boil, becoming red-hot throughout. The rolling inferno scorched the freshly added medicinal materials into medicine. Zhongzhan frowned slightly, puzzled. Is this forging pills? Why does it seem like the flame is a bit too strong? The medicine tripod was turning redder by the moment. The medicinal materials within started as medicine and in just a few breaths turned into dregs, then blackened, emitting thick black smoke. Wasn't Elder Zhong Li the #1 apothecary in the world? Previously, wasn't he forging pills using the River of Destiny without needing a cauldron? Why the sudden change in technique? The teacher is starting the cauldron. Elder Yao Yun replied without turning his head, yet he couldn't help but explain. Starting the cauldron. Zhongzhan was perplexed. Back in the master-teacher continent, he had forged countless pills, and his level of pill forging was quite decent. This was the first time he had heard the term, starting the cauldron. Starting the cauldron is like a chef bringing his pot to a boil. It's the process for an alchemist to get familiar with the pill, and also to temper the cauldron for absorbing the essence of the medicine. Only by doing this can one achieve precision in subsequent pill forging. Explained Elder Yao Yun. But didn't Elder Zhang use the River of Destiny to forge pills directly before? Isn't that better? Zhang Zan curiously asked. When he first arrived here yesterday, he was shocked by the sight of forging pills with the help of the river. How come in the blink of an eye, it has changed back? Using the river to forge some ordinary pills is fine, but to forge some superlative pills, that's not so easy. It's necessary to utilize tools, and this primordial dragon tripod is precisely the strongest medicine tripod on the mainland. Elder Yao Yun's eyes gleamed with excitement. Zhang Zan nodded. On the master-teacher continent, reaching a certain realm in pill forging, one could also forge pills with bare hands. He could do it now, too, but as the other party said, they were basically low-tier medicines. Truly high-tier ones still needed the strength of the cauldron. Soon, Elder Zhang Li added medicinal materials 3 consecutive times, as if washing the cauldron thrice. Only then did the primordial dragon tripod seem completely activated. The ancient runes all over it lit up densely, emitting a piercing dragon's cry. Seeing this scene, Elder Zhang Li breathed a sigh of relief and finally stopped. He turned to look at Zhang Zan and Empyrean Kong Shi. When we begin forging the pill later, I will attempt to temper the medicine. I'll need you to swiftly test the medicine at the fastest speed and draw conclusions. Seeing his seriousness, Zhang Zan and the others knew that the pill being forged must be extraordinary and nodded in agreement. The more precious the medicine, the greater the effect. For them, this was also a great benefit. It was good news. This pill forging is very complicated. First, 9 different medicines must be forged. After all are successfully made, a special method will be used to merge them into one. If successful, it will break new ground in alchemy, and I will become the truly first person in history. Flames seemed to burn in Elder Zhang Li's eyes. With a single pill, you can become the number 1 in pill forging. Zhang Zan was astonished. What kind of pill is Elder Zhang forging exactly? Of course, it's the most peerless of pills. Elder Yao Yun turned his head to look over. Since you will be testing the medicine, you will find out sooner or later. Have you ever heard of the eternal golden body? Zhang Zan was shocked. He had just heard from the Frost Demon Lord. Could it be that the pill Elder Zhang Li was about to forge was related to this unparalleled celestial saint body? Chapter 420. Dan Cloud Rosy Light. Could it be that the pill Elder Zhang Li is about to forge can directly grant one an aureate body? Unable to hold back any longer, Zhang Zan voiced his thoughts. Of course not. Elder Yao Yun shook his head. The eternal golden body is an unparalleled physique throughout the ages, sought by countless masters in the source world. Despite immense efforts, they could never practice it into existence. How could it possibly be achieved with just a single pill? Then, Zhang Zan was at a loss for words. You say it cannot be done, yet you hint otherwise. Are you toying with me? Seeing his thoughts, Elder Yao Yun explained. The pill that the teacher wants to forge cannot directly forge an eternal golden body, but there's a great chance to forge the eternal heart. If successful, attaining the golden body is merely a matter of time. Eternal heart. Elder Yao Yun's eyes flamed with passion again. Correct. The teacher has studied over tens of thousands of ancient medicines. Whenever a pill is forged, people of varying cultivation levels are sought to test the medicine, the goal being to observe the limits of humanity's strength and the methods in which it operates. An astonishing conclusion was reached. If one wishes to attain the eternal golden body, one must first possess a heart that is strong to the extreme. Only with such a heart can one better absorb and replenish strength, nourishing the deficiencies within the soul and destiny. Zhang Zan was stunned. The heart is like an engine. The stronger the power, the easier it is to compensate for other defects. With these hypotheses, the teacher excavated ancient tombs and finally, 20 years ago, found an ancient recipe within a domain of fragments of the heavens belonging to an ancient figure. Unfortunately, to forge it successfully, a total of 9 different pills are required, each with an equivalent medicine power, without the slightest discrepancy. Hence, Each pill that is forged must be tested on the same person, one whose cultivation isn't too high, yet won't be poisoned to death. After explaining, Elder Yao Yun excitedly looked at the two of them. Such people are incredibly hard to find, until you two appeared. Zhang Zan understood. No wonder after learning that he and Empyrean Kong could ingest numerous pills without ill effects, Elder Zhang Li was so delighted. It turned out he had been searching for many years. How can you be sure that this kind of pill can help forge the eternal heart? Empyrean Kong asked. We can't be certain, only that there's a certain probability. Elder Yao Yun shook his head, his face flushing with an unhealthy ruddiness. But, isn't alchemy like that? Before the formation of the pill, no one dares to guarantee 100% certainty, and even with mature pills, given different unique constitutions of those who take them, no one dares claim they're 100% effective. It's all a gamble, and when it concerns the eternal golden body, not to mention gambling once, even 10 times, 100 times would be worth it. Zhang Zan and Empyrean Kong exchanged glances, each conjuring two words in their minds: lunatics. To spend 20 years on an uncertain pill, sacrificing countless lives in trials, neither Elder Zhang Li nor his disciples seemed like normal people. However, it's precisely such lunatics who could truly accomplish extraordinary feats, and have a chance to forge pills that impact the eternal heart. While Elder Yao Yun provided a detailed explanation, on the other side, Elder Zhang Li reignited the inferno, and dragons of fire surged from his river of destiny, hovering around the primordial dragon tripod, scorching the surrounding space slightly twisted. The next moment, Elder Zhang Li flicked his wrist, and a slew of medicinal materials with surging medicine power whistled towards the cauldron, falling into the rolling river of destiny. Zhang Zan looked up, filled with shock. Mystic Frost Jade Marrow Mushroom, Ninth Netherworld Fire Vine, Star Falling Purple Phoenix Flower, Heavenly Gang Thunder Pattern Ginseng. The medicinal materials thrown by the other party, each piece was exceedingly precious, invaluable, and even, beyond price, not obtainable even if one wished to purchase. A common person, even a Life Sea Realm powerhouse, would be fortunate to find one, yet he took out so many at once. As expected of the medicine sect, truly lavish and powerful. These medicinal materials are what the medicine sect has gone to great lengths to find, in collaboration with the Tianli Empire over a laborious 20 years. There is only one set in total, thus, success is the only option, failure is not permissible. Seeing their astonishment, Elder Yao Yun said. Zhang Zan nodded. Such precious medicine, indeed it is difficult to gather, but if one can actually refine a pill that allows a person to cultivate the eternal heart, then it is worth it. Hiss. The medicinal materials, almost all of which possessed spirit creation, let out shrill cries when encountering the searing flames and released powerful strength, attempting to flee. Advanced apothecaries must also be strong themselves, just for fear of encountering such supreme medicinal ingredients. Whoosh! In the air, the medicinal materials transformed into the shapes of dragons or fierce beasts, constantly colliding. Even a slightly weaker person, even a formidable figure at the level of the Blue Cloud Venerable, would panic if suddenly confronted with this. But unfortunately, they encountered Elder Zhang Li. Suppress. With a loud shout, the formation of the medicine sect immediately began to operate, and above the hall, it was as if a huge mirror appeared, deep and vast, with countless golden lights sprinkled, like the 9 heavens star river descending. Whirl. With just one move, the forms that the medicinal materials had transformed into were scattered, trembling as they fell down, and returned to their original appearances. It's the star cloud sky array. My teacher has even taken control of this great formation's authority. Elder Yao Yun was shocked. Clearly the sudden change in front of him was unexpected, even to him. It's something I discussed with the leaders of the 6 sects to activate, just to forge a grade -1 pill successfully. Just then, a faint voice sounded, and Zhang Zan and the others followed the voice to see a young man dressed in a python robe, coming rapidly from afar, slowly descending. He appeared to be in his 30s, tall and with an impressive appearance, with eyebrows like swords and eyes like stars. Even before he had arrived, He exuded a formidable aura and pressure, as if holding supreme authority and strength. We've seen Prince Yuanqing, Elder Yao Yun, Yao Chen, and the others hurriedly bowed in salutation. The Crown Prince. Zhang Zan's eyes narrowed. To have such aura, to make so many people from the medicine sect so respectful, could this person be the Crown Prince of the Tianli Empire? The Tianli Empire, among the world's many forces, ranks among the top few. To be their Crown Prince, one can imagine how lofty his status and powerful his strength are. Prince Yuanqing nodded slightly, landed on the ground, and looked towards Elder Zhongli, who was currently forging pills in front. The latter didn't get distracted but continued to control the River of Destiny and the Primordial Dragon tripod, refining the medicinal materials. With the suppression of the Star Cloud Sky Array, the medicinal materials spirit could no longer resist, obediently blending in. Forge. Accompanied by yet another shout, the Primordial Dragon tripod began to shake violently, its lid slammed shut, gathering the medicine power within. Amidst the thunderous roar, a strangely shaped pill slowly levitated out. The pill was surrounded by mist, like the glow of the setting sun. It's the Dan Cloud, Rosy Cloud, it's a success. Trembling with excitement,